welcome to Bitch Sesh, the Real Housewives breakdown show.
I am Casey Wilson.
I'm Danielle Schneider.
Good morning, Danielle.
Good morning to you. It is early Thursday morning.
Top of the morning.
Top of the morning, yeah. I don't even know what accent that is. And we all know I'm amazing at accents.
Oh, you couldn't be better. You're always doing kind of a version of German?
Yeah, everything I do, including my own speaking voice, is a version of German.
Even I remember you did a Boston once, and it was
it's and then it turned
drifted.
Drifted. They all drifted Germany.
Yes. Well, you do have a whole thing with World War II.
I do.
And
I'm obsessed.
Yeah. You love World War II.
I have the likes of a middle-aged man.
I have the likes of a middle-aged woman.
Yeah.
When I was actually, I think in college, I was reading More Magazine, which is like a magazine for a gal in her 50s. I'd be just like paging through it like, here are my people.
I love like the History Channel. I love sometimes this is, I don't know that you know this, I read obits just to find World War II.
What?
I don't think I've ever... I do. What? I like to find World War II veterans. It's so strange.
A needle in a haystack?
Yeah. No, well, there's not many left.
Yes.
But so I like to find out
what do you do when you
do.
find them?
Read up. Like if they haven't been in World War II, I'm like, pass. Like,
oh, you're not interested?
I'm not interested.
Gotta go.
No, I'm like, not enough for me.
Okay.
But if,
and what if they serve Dark Country in another way? You don't care?
Not interested. And I honestly, I like the European theater, as they call it, as opposed to the Pacific, if we're going in deep.
Oh.
So I tend to be more interested in like the Battle of the Bulge and such. Guys, I'm a strange person.
No, okay. Where are you reading these obits?
The LA Times.
Oh, LA Times?
I know.
You're not even pulling out the New York Times?
No. My husband still gets the paper like an old man.
You're like, I'm reading this in the Trader Joe's
I know,
ledger.
you would think I'd be interested in like, what's going on at DreamWorks or whatever, like in the calendar section as they call it. But now I sometimes, of course I read that, but then I go right to the obits.
And now when you're are you scanning for World War II?
Scanning for World War II. And a lot of times they'll have like a little flag or something and that clues me in so I don't have to actually read it. I can just look for the flag and see.
But I'm still not getting, once you see the flag, what are you feeling?
I'm like, I want to know more about this person and how they lived and where they were in the war and then what they did after.
Yeah.
You know me a while and you don't know this about me.
I did not know you scanned the obits.
Yes.
Solely looking for
World War, dead people that served in World War II. Yes, it's something I do for fun.
I mean, I'll forward you my grandfather's obit.
Really? Was he a World War II veteran?
Yeah.
I'd like to know more.
I'll forward you his obit from the Pensacola Star Ledger.
Do. Yeah, I bet they have some real good. I bet those veterans go right down to
Pensacola. See, that's the thing. I feel like you're looking in the LA Times and you're not getting kind of the amount of that satisfaction that you could be getting if you'd really dig into some Southern papers.
Oh yeah, if I could get like my handle on like the Atlanta Journal and Constitution, I'd be a pig in shit.
Ooh, if you could get into some Mississippi papers. Oh, baby.
Girl.
Ooh, Hanukkah present.
Ooh, somebody knows what to get me for my birthday.
You crazy, girl.
I know. I'm gonna just make a night of it, open some Whispering Angel, and take out the obits.
No, I hope they put that in your obit. Love to look through obits in parentheses, but only World War II. If not interested.
Not interested. If you fought in the Vietnam,
and do you feel a sense of satisfaction when you see World War II? Like, got one?
Yeah. I do feel like, ooh, here's a good one. It's like finding gold in them hills, It's like, I don't know why.
Well, this is a Thursday morning shock.
It's a real discovery. I can't believe how casually we're just...
Wow.
Yeah, that's me.
God, it's one of the best things I've ever heard, and I'm so delighted.
Yeah, well, there I am.
And here's the thing. Mm-hmm. You and I both like, this sounds so stupid, we both like to read.
Yes, we do.
But we're big fiction readers, and I've gotten more into nonfiction. Have you?
I love fiction, but I go back and forth. Yeah. I need to like spread it all around.
And whenever we're kind of exchanging books, you do tend to only recommend World War II
yes,
books.
I do. And even in fiction, Jessica St. Clair will be like, oh, thank God, not a World War II one. And then there it'll pop up. There's the Holocaust. She's like, God damn it, Danielle.
Danielle's like, oh, the light we cannot see. And I'm like, God damn it.
No.
I mean... It's true. Yeah, Jessica's had that complaint about you.
Yeah, a few people. If anyone close to me is like, "Ooh, this one's about a British Isle," like, and then it's like, "And here come the Nazis."
I'm like, God damn it, Danielle.
I know. It's what I enjoy.
It just makes your heart race, doesn't it?
I know. There's something about it. I just
You would think, if anything, you'd want to avoid it.
I know. I like to deep dive into it. Maybe I'm preparing in case it happens again. That's not funny, but it's true.
Tough moment.
No.
Whew.
But housewives.
Anyway, Luann. Wow, Danielle, thank you for bearing your soul.
Thank you. Now,
and I think if anyone, we could do a small service to Danielle. If your eyes fall upon an obit, particularly
World War II, no riffraff.
No riffraff. World War II only. If someone died another way, particularly serving our country, fuck them.
Don't want to know. Not interested. But Casey,
they died in vain.
Yes.
Send them.
Thank you for your service. No, thank you.
Send them over Danielle's way.
Yes. Now, Casey, I'd like to know about something. You've been keeping something from me that happened this weekend, and I'd like to know more.
It's been a discipline, actually, keeping it from you.
It's been hard because we wanted to talk, and we're always like, save it for the screen.
And we've seen
podcast.
We've seen each other many times.
Oh yeah, every day.
And I haven't told April either. And normally, if anything happens to me, of course, I tell every person and blade of grass has to sadly hear my tales of woe that they don't care about. This Saturday, Danielle and dear listeners, and I don't really know how to say this, how to get into this, because people are going to be shocked. Okay. I want to say maybe the listeners don't know about me. I know close friends know, but I think the most basic tenet of my personality is that I'm a seeker.
Yes. You will try things. You're looking to find knowledge. You're looking to find experience.
Spiritual growth. And that is why I did drugs this weekend.
At that moment.
God, what I would have loved to have had some obits, though, to page through while I was tripping.
Casey did drugs. She did a drug.
A reminder, I'm a mom. Let's just get that out of the way.
Reminder, we're not 22.
Oh, God, no. I'm almost 36 if I'm a day.
Yeah, and I am 40.
Danielle. Oh, God. We don't land in the obits. I could have very well landed in the obits.
So tell us everything, because you had warned me that this might happen, and then you went through with it.
I did. So when I say I did drugs, in my heyday and in my past, I'm actually scared of certain things. I've never done cocaine. I've done marijuana, but it makes me...
You mean the drug of choice for the New York ladies?
Yeah, the snow they blow through.
Yeah.
So that really terrifies me. I did ecstasy one time in college. So I don't want to paint this picture as though I'm out every night.
No, I've never known you to be a big drug user.
You're an alcoholic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, by far, all the way.
A prescription painkiller abuser.
Sure, of course.
And someone who uses her dental appointments to get high.
Yeah. All these things I know and love about you.
Thank you. They'll put that in my obit.
Yes.
I
won't read that obit. Yes.
Okay. That's so sad. And by the way, I hope my obit's not in the LA Times. That's I think I said this on the podcast, but in LA, when you drive by Hollywood Forever Cemetery, I'm that's the fucking last thing I want is to be in Hollywood forever.
No, I just be in LA. I'm not important there.
If anyone scatter me to the winds, not in Hollywood.
Yeah. Ugh.
I don't want to be in the Valley. I don't want to be in Silver Lake. I want to be get me out of here.
Oh, I'll live in the Valley, but I won't be buried there. No way, Jose.
That should be on a t-shirt. Oh my God. Okay.
So you did.
So I've done mushrooms, 2 or 3 times. I forced groups of 20 friends over New Year's before I was married to do it. And everybody had a blast but me. I ended up in a puff down coat while it was New Year's Eve. I got in the hot tub wearing boots, wearing Uggs and a down jacket that June tried to pry and peel off me multiple times and dragged me inside. And I stayed in the coat all night, almost causing myself hypothermia.
Oh my God.
And during New Year's, when everyone was like, yay, Happy New Year, I was staring, I'm not kidding, 2 feet from the screen watching Jurassic Park by myself. What? So I'm not the person.
Drugs are great.
Yes, I make everyone do drugs, and then I'm the person that's bargaining with God, get me off of this ride. Like, I love the idea of us all like doing drugs together, but
I've never been good at drugs. I'm not good at drugs personally.
At one point was just like lying face down on a pool table while I heard everyone reveling. So that's that. Okay. And I promise God, if you get me out of this situation in Joshua Tree, I will never touch mushrooms again. And I have not. And that was years ago. And my therapist gently told me she doesn't think I, quote, have the like, I don't think she thinks I have the endorphin level or amount to mess with them. Really? Yeah, like she was like, I think you're very sensitive. Like, I don't think we need to be like chipping away at what little like
reality you have.
Yes, my grasp on reality is so faint, tenuous. All of this is to say, I went in head first on Saturday.
No, tell us about this drug.
A dear friend who shall remain nameless, and if she will allow me to tell her name, because I blame her, is very into healers with me. She's like my fellow seeker friend for the last 7 years. She and I have been on a somewhat spiritual quest of like self-betterment and selfishness. And she sees a shaman, and she sends me this, I guess it was like a flyer. And when I tell you I had few details, it's like heart opening ceremony in Encino, which is already
again,
like
the valley.
Yeah,
you'll do drugs in the valley, but we won't die there.
No, deep in the valley.
Okay.
And I'm like, heart opening ceremony. And my friend writes me, she's like, it's a San Pedro ceremony. Now hold on to your hats, guys. San Pedro has been called in certain drug circles that I'm now a part of.
That you are privy to.
It's called ayahuasca light.
Oh.
Now, let me fill you in. Ayahuasca, I don't know what it is, but people take it in Peru or at Josh Radnor's house.
Yes, I have heard that. And then they vomit and they wear all white. And they shit themselves too?
Yes, you shit and vomit.
Something we are both accustomed to, so not shocking.
Nothing I'm not already doing.
Yeah.
And basically, apparently, like it wrings out your soul and you travel. This is what I've heard from multiple people into like the seven, like into hell basically, and through like your entire life, and you drop down into like the darkest part of your life. Now that sounds, I don't. And I watched, Chelsea Handler has a documentary where she did it with Jenny Mullins, and I watched it and I was like, they're so brave for doing that, but they actually got like amazing messages out of it about their lives, that I was like, I can't do that. Okay. Now when I want everyone to know is I really did do this coming at it from a kind of a spiritual bent.
No, and I know you, and I know that you are searching and are looking to find answers in your life.
I am, and I don't even have questions.
you just want answers to questions that you haven't asked.
I'm at peace. I'm not someone who's like, oh my God, my life. I'm happy as a clam, I would say, with my family and my life. But nonetheless, I trucked myself out to Encino on a Saturday.
To me, which is like on a Saturday?
Danielle Schneider. I'm going to get to it. Okay, I've been putting this off long enough. Okay, so it was, she calls it, the woman that ran it, a heart opening ceremony. And that was like her slang for it. And when we emailed her to say like, we put in the subject line, like, hey, we'll be there for San Pedro, like just RSVPing for San Pedro. She's like, I have removed San Pedro from the subject line. So she like bitch slapped me and my friend right off the bat. And I'm like, ooh, for a heart opening ceremony, we're going in hot.
Yeah.
So I arrived with 3 other girlfriends who were all moms, which I felt good about.
Yeah. So
now, one of the moms had done the hard work of calling this woman and saying, like, from a health perspective, just brass tacks. Are we going to die? We have kids.
Yeah.
She was like, she didn't say, like, definitely no. She was just like, you'll be good. Told us, you can't take any medications. You can't have anything to eat the day. Like, Nothing. It was almost like an anesthesia prep, which I'm, again.
Yeah, again, accustomed to.
Yes.
I'm more accustomed to being on anesthesia than not.
Danielle, what I would have given to been under.
Really?
Oh my God. So we Uber out there and we're supposed to bring yoga mats, pillows, blankets, everything. I don't know what we're doing. All I know is that we're drinking some kind of cactus juice runoff.
Ugh, that sounds awful.
This is often done in Peru.
Better or worse than modern alchemy tasting?
Better.
Wow!
No, that's actually not true. But basically, all I know is it's a heart opening ceremony. We're supposed to bring intentions. We're supposed to bring questions. Universal life questions. We're gathering in a garden. And it wasn't much of a garden. I was
going to say in Encino, does the garden exist? Does a garden grow in Encino?
Does a tree grow
in Encino?
Okay.
Desert land.
The girls were driving over. We don't know what to expect. We're all just like, what are we doing? And also, P.S., there's others coming. Others.
Other people, other spirits?
Well, there were other spirits there, but there were 6 other people. We get to this garden, and when I tell you, we were supposed to bring a vegetarian potluck for the end of it, and we were supposed to be there from 10 to 5. I'm like, that's a long time. What's happening to us?
Yeah.
But everyone's kind of feeling like you're not supposed to hallucinate. It's supposed to be a heart opener.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I'm good with that. We have journals, we have talisman, we have totems, we have crystals. Someone's got tarot cards. Another one's got a watercolor set. We're ready.
Okay.
We get out there. The woman that is leading us, when I tell you, it's not quite like a Heidi Rose Robbins, my spiritual leader and guru.
As is mine.
Yeah. A woman who's dignified and can hold the space.
Yeah.
This woman's like, guys, you're not supposed to come in the house. She's like,
don't let my dog out.
yes, don't let the cat out. I'm
Really?
like, cat. Last thing I want to see when I'm tripping my face off is a dirty ass cat.
Yeah, I'm afraid of cats when I'm not tripping. I don't know what
And they lock eyes with me. I'm not a cat person, guys. Relax.
Yes.
I'm just not.
Yeah, neither am I. God bless you.
God bless. And they look at me like, I know you're not into me, and I want more from you.
Oh!
Due to that fact. And they come a creeping, and he came a creeping, this cat.
While you're on...
And he was one of those cats with like a bunny tail.
I don't even know what that is.
It was like a short tail, like a stubby tail.
Like it had been severed.
In the wild.
In the wilds of Encino.
That cat was, though, the least of my concerns as the day progressed. So I'm carrying, I've made some globs, which from
I don't know what that is.
You shouldn't. I'm diving very into the work of Ina Garten.
Okay. I love, please.
Speaking of being an elderly woman, I'm following all her recipes, cooking like mad, and she has this thing called chocolate globs.
Oh, okay.
And I felt like I might want to turn to a glob midway through. I don't know, but I just want globs on hand.
Yeah.
So I made
globs at the ready.
Yes, I made globs. Of course, I had April get me my vegetarian dish from Gelson's. I'm ready.
Yeah.
To show up, she goes, you guys, you can put your stuff in the fridge. Now, her tone again is like, this is the woman that's leading us all day?
Heart opening?
Mm-hmm. My girlfriend and I, we go to put our food in the fridge that was outdoors. When I tell you, we opened the fridge and it was rusted and it looked like food had, like there'd been 20 explosions of food where things have dripped down the sides and the back. Like it looked almost like blood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it had been there for decades. And she was like, this is my grandparents' house. Creepsville. So I'm already like, I'm going in to do drugs in this creepy house, and I'm placing
Sounds like the beginning of a very scary movie.
And this guy I didn't even know was like, oh, what did you bring? I'm like, globs. He's like, they'll fit right in that fridge. So I was like, ooh. We sit in a circle. First we pay her and give her our medical releases. I know.
This is worse than a gym.
Again, it is 10:15 in the morning at this point. I'm setting up like my little mat, and I set up in
like
this
a station.
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time. And I don't know what I'm preparing for. We had to bring bathing suits. There was a pool and hot tub. I'm gonna speed this up. I'm sorry. So I set up in this kind of like dark runway portion of the garden. Like that's what it kind of looked like to me. It's like a strip of darkness. But I'm like, I feel that's just where I'm being called.
Okay.
I sit there. We all sit in a circle. There's an altar in the middle. She has like wooden stick with like tassels on the end as she passes out. And everyone has to hold it and say their intention while we drink one by one. A powder, I was like picturing it would come out, I don't know, be a little more.
I thought water, like water pours out of a cactus.
No, it came in a container. It looked like you could buy it at GNC.
Oh, God. What
she took, and when I tell you it was a heaping of green grain, this like shit powder that she just stirred into regular warm water. People were beyond gagging, doesn't even cut it. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And I know that's horrible. I was crying. I was gagging. I had to hold my nose. I had to coach myself through. Everyone's like, walk it off. Just go walk and drink it. And now everyone's waiting for me. I'm like, trying to get this shit down.
I can barely get down like my green juice. I don't know how I would get
it. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever. Honestly, Modern Alchemy would have been a gorgeous chaser. And again, we've had no food. We've had no water. I drink it and they're all waiting for me. Mm-hmm. And I come back and everyone's like, great job. Like you finally got it down. And I'm like, what am I doing? And I keep thinking like my son's with my husband. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this. We're there. Again, the woman now, after we've taken it, starts telling us what's about to happen, which is like, I would have loved that talk a little bit earlier.
Or maybe at the email that you had sent her, a little heads up.
A little heads up. She goes, so listen. And when I tell you this woman, and this is dead serious, her attitude, she goes, I'm going to decide if I'm going to do it with you guys or not after everyone takes a second, like sense the energy. So now we've all taken it. And she goes, I'm not taking it. She goes, the energy is way too intense here. I'm like, bitch. First of all, how about you don't take it and just kind of monitor, like hall monitor everyone, as I thought you're like leading us through this. And secondly, she's like judging us for basically being like, ooh, we got some doozers in the group emotionally. I'm like, what? Everyone says their intentions. One girlfriend beautifully says like, my parents have passed. A girlfriend of mine, she said, I want to know if they're okay. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of people have very beautiful intentions. I was like, I don't know what's about to happen. And I said that. So I'm kind of open to anything. The woman explains that San Pedro is the grandfather energy and the grandfather spirit. Danielle, I don't know. And I'm nodding like, yeah. Of course. She's like, San Pedro's the grandfather energy. You will receive messages today, all day long. All you're going to do is receive messages. And then one guy points out a man who is Syrian, the most lovely, amazing energy. I was like, that's my friend. Like this guy and his wife, I was like, I love them. I'm feeling good about them. Great. Okay. He was so lovely. And he's the only one like giving us information. He'd done it a few times. And he said, just so you know, today is about you're taking the drug and you're going to go off and you do 4 hours in silence and then 4 hours with everyone.
How do you not talk for 4 hours?
You don't feel like talking.
Really?
Yeah, when you're journeying back through your childhood and hysterically sobbing and wondering what might have been.
Oh!
You're not looking at chat. Now, we've taken this and slowly I'm like feeling something coming over me and he's saying to me, he goes, you will receive messages. And finally I said, what's that now? Like, what are these messages? And everyone says, all you have to do is when you're on it, you can ask any question you want, essentially to the universe, I guess, and a message will be received. So then it was like commonplace for everyone to talk for the rest of the day about like, oh, well, I got a message about this. And oh, well, I was, messaged. Mm-hmm. And everyone was feeling called at different points. Like it was amazing. My one friend felt called, and everyone's talking so openly about their calls. Someone's like, well, I feel called to go get some food. I said, I'm called to get my globs out of the fridge. Everyone else was called to do different things. Like someone was called to get in the hot tub. Someone was called to like, I don't know, like chat with a squirrel. Someone was called to go over to another girl who seemed like she was really suffering. Like people were feeling called in different ways all throughout the day. I said, this is what I'm struggling with. I gave like 2 little things. And I said, now again, is someone going to talk to us? Is that how we receive the messages? I'm like in the...
So you don't have like a Sherpa along with like a mental Sherpa along with this journey?
What do you mean?
Like no one's helping you here?
Well, I thought that's what this woman was going to do. She's the quote unquote, this is her job title, healer.
Wow.
David said / failed actress. I was like, stop.
But true.
So the healer, then I see her in the corner. By the way, we're like 45 minutes in, taking it. I'm like, no one's like writing this ship.
Oh my God.
I turn and see one of my girlfriends. Now I, again, took it last because I was so sick. So I see that people are like kind of ahead of me. I see a dear girlfriend when I tell you she's hysterically sobbing, rocking by the pool. I'm like, oh God. I'm looking around. I'm seeing some pretty weird stuff. Like another girlfriend just does a cartwheel in the yard by herself. Another girlfriend's like pointing up at a butterfly and kind of calling it out to me. And I'm like, what's coming for me? And I'm feeling so much anger, like so much anger is coming up. And so the healer said she's going to come around and give us a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or you could call her over. And she's giving the most lazy thumbs up to people like, yeah, again. It's like, you good. I feel crazy. I thought I could Hulk everyone, pick them up and like throw them. I hated everyone. I hated everything. I hated Los Angeles. I was like, this is so ridiculous. What am I doing? Okay, I'm really going to speed this up.
No, I'm fascinated.
No. Finally, she gives me a like lazy thumbs up and I give her a, hey, come on over here. Sweetie. No. Yeah, and she tries to give it across the pool like with a sarong and she's now wearing a bikini top and a sarong. She's like changed. Like
it's just like a Saturday for her. Like this is no big deals.
By the way, we are now all really deep into San Pedro and she makes this announcement. Guys, just so everyone knows, at 8:00, everyone's got to clear out because I'm having my Burning Man camp over. I'm like,
dare she?
So all of this said, what transpired for that 8 hours? And by the way, it didn't end until like 3-4 in the morning. So it was like a 15-hour thing.
So even at 8, when she wanted everyone out, you guys did not leave?
We did leave because I was like, I want to get the fuck out of this house. We ordered an Uber. It's not great to get into a stretch Uber after you've received the messages that I received. And we're like bumping along and nauseous. And my friend and I are like literally almost gagging to throw up being on like windy hill roads for half an hour ride back home. But when I got home was the best part of it. But all of this is to say, I did receive so many messages.
And do you want to share any?
I will share a couple messages. And the messages did, like they said, they came effortlessly. It wasn't like, I'm not going to ask God for a sign. And I'm struggling to understand if I'm receiving anything. I received so many messages about this podcast. No.
I was like, what's our future? What's to happen of the Whispering Eileen?
And like Bethany has. No. Every time I would bring up a problem like on the earthly plane, like I'm just giving an example. This wasn't my issue, but like maybe, you know, like, oh, is my work gonna whatever?
Yeah.
The answer that was received so clearly was, that's not a problem. And when I tell you it was, and again, my husband's like, oh, you're just tripping. Like this was like a drug fueled day. Yes and no. There was something spiritual going on where when I tell you I've never felt more connected to nature, I've never felt more connected to my mom who has passed. And I had this deep messaging and understanding that anyone who has passed is so at peace. In fact, they're almost laughing at us.
What?
They feel sad for us, that we're still suffering without them, but they're in absolute peace. And my other girlfriend felt the same exact message. It wasn't an up for debate message. It's just like they are at peace 100%. And anything I asked again, like kind of just not petty, but like I'm in a fight with this person.
Yeah.
It was like, it's all great and it's okay. And it is as it should be. And I was still in reality with everything. I was like, yeah, maybe that's a problem. And maybe you want to whatever, maybe you want to lose weight, but you know what? You look great. Wow. And it was the most kind of realistic self-love experience I've ever had. And then this guy tells me, he goes, just so you know, the teachings will continue. I was like, what? He's like, after you do San Pedro for the next year plus, the messages will continue. The experience will continue to unfold. Basically, like this is just the beginning. And the messages have continued.
Wow.
I've received so many messages. I don't know what it was. It truly is such an unpacking and crazy experience that I would never do again. But at the same time,
you don't have to because they continue on.
I do feel that. And I know anyone's listening is like, Casey's truly lost it. But I've never felt more sane.
Well, I'm not saying we're recommending it to people, but it does sound
no, I don't recommend it to anyone. And my friends and I were like, oh, we'll never do that again. And that was a mistake. But I've come to peace on a number of issues. I also received the message that I need to travel to Montauk.
Can I say that I've been to Montauk and you do?
Right?
Yeah, it's beautiful there.
I received that message and I received that I needed to go see.
Strange message to get though.
It appeared to me Montauk. And then later in the day, I was listening to music on my phone and I heard the song Unrelated Montauk by Rufus Wainwright, was crying my eyes out. It's the most beautiful song about parenting that he wrote for his daughter.
Wow.
And then I also received the message that I need to go see Andrew Rannells, my friend in Falsetto Land.
Well,
on Broadway, and I shared that message with you, and you're joining me.
Yes. Well, I love Andrew Rannells, and I love
my messages just seem to be like travel and see musical theater.
I think those are great messages. I like those messages.
Yeah,
I like those messages.
But another message was like, you don't need to do any of this anymore. This kind of stuff. And the last thing, my girlfriend came over and we were kind of wrapping it up yesterday. Like, what have we done? And she's like, I think if we want to do something else, we could maybe just, I don't know, smoke pot. And I was like, I don't really want to do that anymore. She goes, neither do I. I was like, grab a glass of wine. She's like, or just kind of sit at home and watch TV. We're good.
Yeah. Wow. What a journey.
San Pedro.
It's not just a place. It's a
state of mind. I'm sorry. That was such a long story,
it's important.
And I watched San Pedro down with a midlife crisis. I have joined a women's basketball league that I roped April into.
So strange. And if you guys knew Casey, and I think you do at this point, because we've shared our lives and of ourselves,
and our drug use.
That's the strangest thing I've ever heard you do.
I know. I played a lot of sports.
Athlete,
yes, I am very competitive. Somehow I got roped into it. April and I are proud members of a team called the Lucille Ballers.
Now, did you rope April in, or was April just along? Like, was April like, I want to do this too? Or you're like, April?
April never said she wanted to do this. I have literally become Bethany, and April's become Julie.
Which is a great relationship. P.S.
Oh, it's amazing. April is Pickles, and I am Sonia. And I just, April, at first it was like, April, we need a sub. And she was like, okay. And so we went. We were both terrified. Both of us thought our hearts were going to explode out of our bodies and then we were going to be carried away on stretchers. The cardio was simply we couldn't.
April as a mill, I'm disappointed in you. Your cardio should be much better.
Well, April's that annoying mill that doesn't work out and is so effortlessly.
She looks amazing. It's infuriating.
But
April is gorgeous and her hair is even more gorgeous.
I know. And she doesn't need, if I looked at it, I wouldn't work out either.
She's amazing.
So I've looked up cardio in April and I'm sure, be paying April to do cardio with me.
But you also said I was thinking of hiring somebody to coach us.
Well, I'm sorry, Danielle. I have not played basketball since I was 15, and now I'm the oldest gal in a group. I don't see one of them. No one's out there with kids. And I feel like April and I could benefit from a clinic. And that wasn't a message I received.
Clinic? Isn't this basketball team the clinic?
Danielle, this is the performance.
Oh, sorry.
We need rehearsals. That's the show.
True. I would like to come see a game and cheer you on. I was a former cheerleader. I don't know if I've expressed that on this podcast.
You should join. There's a dance team that Angela Trimber runs in the middle, and it's unbelievable.
Time to learn routines. I'm already learning the routines I teach myself.
I'd love to see you out there in some short shorts cheering us on.
But that said, I don't have time to learn a dance.
Well, Danielle, speaking of you not having time, what's going on with you right now in your family life? And then we will get to the housewives.
Yes, we will get to the housewives.
I blame myself. I'm sorry for the San Pedro jump, but I had to.
No, it was important. My daughter came home from school. As we know, she's had some problems with her fighting, with her physicality, not knowing her own
physicality.
With her physicality,
not knowing her own strength.
Yes, and saying, as I said in the podcast, her favorite part of school was hitting. Now,
and she is 3.
Yeah, she is 3, just turned 3. Well, she came to us the other day and was like, I said, "How was school? Who are you playing with?" And she said, "Nobody." And she said, I said, "What? Why don't you play with?" Because nobody will play with me.
Well, I would jump out of a bridge.
So I, of course, was devastated last night, like having to calm down before I composed an email to the school because it's like, why are they not watching? And of course, I sent a, not terse email, but just an email saying like, what the hell is going on?
Last night or this morning?
This morning. I gave it some thought, though not enough probably, because then my husband dropped my daughter off at school today. And he was like, we're hearing this from our daughter, like what's going on? And they're like, she's like a social butterfly. We're like, we see her talking and playing with everyone, at this age, just so you know, and they're growing up, like a lot of them haven't found like their buddy. And her buddy I forgot to mention, like her buddy in the school, like moved a few weeks ago. So she did have a buddy.
So maybe she's feeling that hit.
So yeah, but they're like, no, she plays with everyone. She's quite happy. She's a real, storyteller. And like, so they were like, she seems to be quite comfortable. Aww. So that made me happy. And yet,
I still identify with her, though, because sometimes you can be playing with people, but in your heart, you're like, no one's playing alone with me.
It might have been, and I love my daughter, but they just weren't doing what she wanted to do.
Sounds like it.
Yeah,
no, she is so sweet. Yeah. I'm dying. Well, this story has such a happy ending.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Because I was worried, but it was making me laugh when you told me this, because the fact that she's saying no one wants, you said that 3-year-olds, and I said to Danielle, well, I don't think even 3-year-olds would be saying that to each other.
And I said, yes, they do. They learn at school. You can't play with it like really early, because she didn't learn that at home. There's no one to play with it.
They learn to say you can't play with me.
They learn to say you can't play with me. They hear it from another kid who heard it from their older brother or sister.
They hear it from a little bully.
Yeah, and so that comes early, even by 2.5. Saying you can't play with me, or someone was saying, I saw girls and boys saying to her, you can't play with me.
That is heartbreaking.
Mostly, sadly, girls.
I don't think I'm cut out for parenting.
I mean,
but you know what? It's so funny. It's like that. She's already in an episode of The Housewives.
Oh yeah, you can't play with us. You can't come to the Berkshires with us.
Yes, that's what they're saying to her. Like, you're not invited to the dry cleaning party.
No. Let's get into these week's episodes.
Okay. Well, should we take a quick little break?
Yes, let's take a break.
I think everyone needs a little break. I'm just going to run off and do a little more Sanpete.
And I'm going to go look at an obit. Bye.
We're back,
guys.
And a lot of people have died.
Yes. Oh, thank God. Something to do with my afternoon.
So much to talk about, Danielle.
The OC this week, guys.
How
far away is Glamis from Palm Springs?
MapQuest it.
Who still uses MapQuest? P.S. Megan, aren't you a mill? Why are you on Google Maps? Or Waze it? What's going on?
Even I would have Wazed it. Everyone's like, and Megan with her little closed mouth, like, I MapQuest it.
I'm like, God, you are not Jim's age. Don't act like it. Right? I bet.
Although she's dressing like it in the testimonials.
I know, so strange.
What the fuck was that hot pink number? And it hit me right out of the blue.
One of our listeners was like, I think I have that shirt. Like, so upset.
It's really upsetting.
Yeah, it's tough.
I've been there. Where you're like, what is Tam? Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've definitely done that, sadly, on Jersey.
I feel like often I'll catch a glimpse of Shannon Medore and be like, well.
I remember just looking at Danielle Staub's outfit and be like, have that.
I have that shirt.
Obviously, we've both been to a BB recently.
I thought BB was like, God damn, if I want to be sexy and cool, I better go to BB.
Oh, I know. I was like, ooh, one day I'll have money to get me to BB.
It's like how I used to feel about a little shop called White House Black Market.
Oh, yeah. One popped up in my mall recently. I'm like, ooh, we got fancy.
I was like, excuse me, you only got white and black? Wow.
Both, not just one. But guys.
This episode, I don't even know if it was that the episode was so amazing or the preview for the next week's episode was so amazing that colored the whole thing,
Yes.
but I loved it. OC's on fire.
Yeah, OC is bringing me life.
I mean, an ATV flipped.
I know. And then Tamra, even after the ATV flipped, she goes back, she gets out of the hospital. She's like, I got to go back to Glamis. I was like, hasn't Glamis done enough damage?
Well, we heard it let slip at one point that that Heather said, oh, I'm watching Tamara's kids in Glamis who we don't see on the camera. So I'm like, Tamara was really setting up shop in Glamis.
Oh, yeah. She was like practicing a move.
She had her mom there, which at one point there was this funny threesome that was like the New Housewives, which was Heather, Kelly Dodd, Tamara's mom.
I know. It's such a strange
Tamara's mom's
grouping.
like, I thought it was strange.
I will say, though, and I know Miss June Diane would disagree.
Oh, I've spoken with her,
I'd like
and
to
I
hear
feel I
thoughts.
can represent her opinion.
And I felt like when Vicky got that neck brace on, she was a pig in shit. I think if it were up to her, she'd always have a neck brace.
I was going to say, our dear friend Jackie Clark, who we have to have on this podcast, always does this character at UCB.
Yes.
She's like a professor who just inexplicably has a neck brace. And the neck brace is Vicky's most honest look.
Yes.
It's who she is.
Yes,
It's like when you see her, she's a walking victim.
She wants people to say, what happened?
Yes.
And that's how she would like to wake up every morning.
But it
what
also
happened today,
looked
Vicky?
great on her. It was like, that's you.
Yeah. It was.
I could see her in a cocktail dress and a neck brace. Just
Yeah.
like, this is her look. And
It was
fits.
perfect. It was perfect. But even
Her outsides like finally matched her insides.
she is a walking neck brace. I think you're right.
Yeah.
And I felt like, okay, yes, it was a big accident.
The ATV did flip several times.
Yes, and I'm not saying that no
Danielle.
one should have gone to the hospital.
They should have.
I know. And you have been very terse with me about that point.
I don't care if I was on San Pedro. I would have gotten my ass out to Palm Springs.
Were you thinking about me on San Pedro? Like, why won't Danielle
Come and find me.
Why would she MapQuest her way to me?
I was like, I know Danielle lives in the valley.
But it was sort of like when they all went to go see her at her house, like, just like a queen. She was sitting, and when
She was receiving.
Oh yeah, she was receiving. She was like having a sip and see, but just for her,
For her neck.
for her neck. I swear, and it wasn't a new baby; it was a new neck brace. She was thrilled, and I
she
felt
was.
like the most honest moment was when Brianna and her were having a conversation where Brianna is sick. Like Brianna has real problems, and for her to and Brianna was like, "I just feel so horrible," and Vicky was like, "Feel bad for me," and Brianna was like, "No, feel bad for me." Like it was.
I gotta
real
stop you,
conversation.
Danielle.
Okay, let me
I
hear.
thought when Brianna sold Vicky out hardcore in the testimonial, and I know no one agrees with me. I bet there's one person out there who agrees.
I know Miss June Diane does.
Oh, June is up in arms about
Is she?
the treatment of Vicky. And for someone to be in the hospital bed alone, I saw June last night and she said she was just in a paper robe. Didn't sit well with JD.
I know it
JDR
wouldn't.
don't play
No,
that.
She does not.
She don't play Vicky alone in a hospital
No,
bed.
she doesn't. And I am on that ride.
And I'm sorry, Danielle. I don't think they're giving out morphine to someone unless I'm not saying she broke anything. I'm just saying she was in an accident, probably had extreme whiplash, some type of pain.
Yes.
And Vicky's never taken a day off from Kodo.
Yes, all these things are true.
I'm not saying she didn't play it up. I thought it was really gross for her daughter. I don't like this disloyalty streak that Brianna's showing. I know we all think it's cool because we're like, even her daughter thinks she's a piece of shit. But it's like, that's your mom. And she was in an accident. To say like she's exaggerating for the cameras. It's the first time I was like, Brianna, get over yourself.
I hear you on that. I'm coming around to that only because like if my daughter sold me out, I'd slap that bitch.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine Sid.
And as we know, she doesn't.
And she will say that
will
about
say
you.
that about me. But I will say that like, have no problem.
Yeah,
with
Sid
my
will be
aunt.
Brianna and you will be Vicky.
Yeah, and I will be Vicky to get me a neck brace. But I do feel like it is truth. She is telling truth. I'm not saying that it was disloyal, but I do feel
and
like...
Look, did this accident come at the absolute perfect time?
Yes.
Yes, it couldn't have been better.
Yes, because she now has to have... Shannon is no longer in the upper, like in the position of power.
And look, Vicky loves it. I love it. It came at the perfect time because now we're getting everyone... The gang is back together. The girls are back.
And the game has changed. Game has changed, and who was up is now down, and who was down is now up.
And what I'm loving is having Heather on the side of Vicky and Tamara. Now, I wish Tamara would give up the ghost with this Christian shit.
Yeah.
As a Christian, I say this,
because she doesn't seemingly want to be like it's at odds with who she is.
I'm sorry, Tamara, the old Tamara. If she had been sitting there at that lunch with Shannon and Heather, she would have literally turned around and scratched out the floor to ceiling windows in the restaurant and jumped out bloodied and screaming and running down the beach screaming at Shannon. And said she was like, I don't understand you, Shannon. I'm like, what? This is not the Tamara I know and love.
I agree. We're getting Tamara light, like ayahuasca light.
Yes, this I don't want San Pedro.
No,
San
I don't
Pedro
want the
Tamara.
San Pedro Tamara. I want ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca Tamara.
Ayahuasca,
100%.
Another funny moment. Again, tumbleweeds at Cut Fitness. Just tumbleweeds.
Wow. And at one point in one shot, just in one frame, I think I saw 3 different Cut Fitness logos. It was getting very skinny girl.
And do you know Cut stands for like cardio? Oh, it has like, it literally stands for like cardio.
Uh-oh.
I don't want to say underwater, but something like
cardio underwater.
Like, I don't know.
Time.
Yeah. But it is a...
Really?
It stands for something.
What could it stand for?
I know it's... The first word is cardio. Unique.
What?
Maybe like sir. Unique.
Oh, yes, sir. It was like service.
Yeah.
Sexy. Unique.
So it's cut.
Restaurant.
So I think it's cardio.
Remember the R was
restaurant. Sexy. Unique. Restaurant. It's cardio. Unique. Toning?
Treadmill.
I'll have to do some research. Treadmill. Cardio unique treadmill.
I mean, watching Tamara in there with those wedge sneakers and Eddie.
Eddie loves her though. They, as I said in this podcast, they have a love like I've never, like none of us will ever know.
They absolutely do.
And she has been better for that.
Now, Shannon, I just want to say, she's my favorite of this season by far. Everything she says makes me laugh.
And the fact that her kids, as we see next week, have a band.
Oh,
I am.
My God.
I need that song. I need that single now.
I think we're not allowed to play clips and stuff, which is why we don't. But I'm going to play their song next week. And if it gets taken down by the powers that be, sue me.
Yeah. I need it to be like.
The fact that her 3 daughters, it was all 3 of them, right?
It's like the Jackson 5.
are in a band together and I could watch Shannon dance to that band. And I wish it was interspersed with her dancing and then running up on the beach breathless.
This is what you want to say. Favorite moment.
And dancing. I love my girls. She's like, I'm on the nervous meter. I'm here.
You do a great Shannon.
God bless. And then watching David glassy-eyed with his mouth open, staring at the girls.
He had a really good cut this week on Vicky. I don't know if you heard it, but it was... Oh, wait, let me find it. He goes...
What did my David say?
David, your boyfriend David said, why don't you text Brooks? Like you don't have to go see... You don't go see Vicky. Why don't you text Brooks and he'll go see her?
I didn't hear David say that.
Oh, yeah. Touche Baydor. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like we saw everyone's true colors through the lens of Glamis.
Yeah.
And La Quinta. If I hear Megan say La Quinta again, I'm going to... I don't know what.
You already want her dead. What more could you do to her?
I'm at a loss here because it's one of those things where, like, when you get really angry and then you just start punching something and people are like, yeah, we know you were angry. There's nothing more I can do or say to show my distaste for both Megan and Jimmy.
Yeah. No, they're terrible.
I'm de-heightening now.
It's crazy. Your TV
just
is
saying
exhausted.
Simply, I hate them. And I want them gone.
No, I know.
From Earth.
From Earth. Also, I thought it was funny that that Kelly's apology to Heather means nothing. It holds the weight of air. It just felt like, who cares if Kelly's apologizing to anyone? She's such a nothing. Like, I'm done. I have the hate for her that you have for Megan. I hate Kelly. She brings nothing to the show. I think she's crazy on purpose, but I also just like, I don't like anything about her. I hate her hair. I hate her like.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm just picking. I just can't. She's just not for me.
She's not for you?
And she's not for the OC. And she's not for this world.
Well, while we're on Kelly, someone on our Facebook group, and just rest assured, everyone, at the end of this episode, we are giving all of the information for how to get into the Facebook group. So there's been some glitches.
Yes.
But someone on the group posted the following boots on the ground incident concerning one Kelly Dodd. Did you see this?
The restaurant that's Sir? Yes, I saw this.
Okay, so an amazing person, Colin Newman, wrote the following. While managing Pump tonight, so I'm amazed that we even have a manager of Pump in our midst. These are the type of VIPs we have in the Facebook group.
Yeah, just so you know who you're rubbing shoulders with.
Who you're rubbing keystrokes with. Colin says the following. While managing Pump tonight, I had an irate guest upsetting one of my servers. The culprit, I later find out, is the newest addition to the Real Housewives, Kelly Dodd. He puts her middle name.
Love it.
Don't watch the show. Don't care. This woman, or more accurately, full-grown woman baby, was left with her party's bill because they all stepped out. After getting her receipt, she forgets having offered to pay and claims she's not responsible for what her friends ate and drank. This is the moment I witnessed a brilliant Demogorgon from Stranger Things impression. I mean, he says, just beautifully executed. She goes full screamo on me about how it's our fault she paid for everyone and how it's now my job to go find her friends, whom I don't know and never saw, so they can pay their portions. I continue to say nothing and let her unleash fury because trying to reason with a drunk, irrational Bravo celebrity is a waste of my time. Ultimately, she pulls the I'm on TV card, which I think is supposed to immediately make her right and anything I say wrong. He says, if you know me, that sort of thing doesn't exactly sit well with me. And he says, finally,
we do now.
In response, I get a tiny bit closer to her and ever so slightly raise my voice and say, don't give me that shit. He said, so did I unknowingly audition for Housewives? Where are the cameras hiding? He says, hey, crazed, hysterical, Bravo plastic monster lady, how old are you? Please grow up. You're destroying civilization with each breath you take. Thanks.
Wow. Real takedown.
Was this you, Danielle, writing?
Nobody spoke for me. She is a demigorgon. Not even a full gorgon. She is the worst. She is a nothing that thinks she's a something. And I don't like her on the show, and I don't think she gives a good energy.
We need to move on.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to say?
I would just say that at that last meeting that they were at, like that restaurant, they were all finding reasons to be mad at each other, which I thought was funny. Like, I'm mad you didn't go to Vicky. Well, now I'm annoyed that you're not annoyed at Megan. Like, just like,
oh, I can't believe now that you know what you know, you're not mad.
Yes. So I thought that was some brilliant dialogue, some Mamet-esque.
And there was one offshoot line that Heather said. Someone was like, oh, it was reckless that, or Tamara was reckless driving that thing. And Heather just says kind of side mouth. She's like, maybe it was reckless getting pregnant. About Megan, which was a toofy.
Damn.
That was tooth juice.
And then next week's preview for Shannon's mother-in-law saying,
oh my God,
that it was her fault that David cheated. Guys, we are in for it. I got to get my hands on this mother-in-law.
For David's sister and mom to arrive like that, yelling at the bar, and then seeing David's glossy deer in the headlights face as Shannon's crying in a women's room. Does this negate our vow renewal?
You guys, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I don't love it. Vow renewal equals death.
We have two rules. Your rule is vow renewal equals death. My rule is, which I hope does not apply to Shannon's daughters, if you play your music on camera, you're the worst musician alive.
Exactly. We'll see how this all plays out. Real quick, I have one thing to say about Jersey.
Please.
We don't have a ton of time in New York. It was a reunion. But my favorite part of Jersey this week, two things. Siggy. I love her. I love how into family she is. I can get behind her. I love everything she does. I'm getting, before I said sometimes we don't get the Jew we want, we get the Jew we need. No, we got the Jew we wanted.
Really?
Our people. I love her. Yes, sometimes they play like klezmer music behind her, which I don't appreciate.
They're like, yeah, da, da, da,
yeah,
da, da.
Idle, like when her family gets together, it's like, all right, guys, let's
like sunrise,
we get it.
sunset.
Exactly, like, is this the little Papa? Can you hear me? All right, guys. As a Jew, I feel Siggy's important to us and our cause of getting it, because Jill Zarin wasn't great.
I told you, Siggy has inspired me as a Christian. My husband's Jewish, to light the candles on Friday. I'm getting religious tips
because of Siggy. She's inspirational. Siggy. She's wonderful, and I can't wait to see more of her. When she's just like, I just love you so much. Like, it's like, that's how I feel towards my kid. I just want to like make out with them. Like,
I almost feel like we got a raw deal how we started with Siggy.
Yes. We didn't get to know the full hair. Well, she came in with a soup straw and a facelift.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's hard to get to know someone that way.
Yeah, but no, she's a wonderful person. I love her.
Agree.
And then the other thing I'll say is we found out this week, this startling piece of information. I was dying, that Teresa told her girls, her daughters, that she went to prison she said she went to prison to write a book. Like, that's why she was going to prison. She was doing research. Like, she was embedded, like Christina Manapur, like just like an embedded journalist there just to do research. And then Joe was like, Trey, I don't believe that.
Trey.
And she was.
They're like, you didn't even test your recipes for your cookbook, Trey.
Yeah, he was like, Trey, don't think that. And she was like, what? Like, shocked that they realized that she wasn't, like, they have eyes, they have ears, they can read. Like, God, I mean, that to me was like, wow, denial. Like, I understand you don't have to tell your kids everything, but they're also lying to them feels weird. I don't know.
And by the way, it's not only like they're going to know, it's all been recorded. They're going to go back and I would love to watch the moment of a housewife's child who's grown up decide to sit down with a glass of wine and watch what their parents did.
What they've been up to.
Like when one of these little kids grows up and they say, I'm ready, after years of therapy, to sit down. I would just like to ask our listeners, are people watching Jersey? I'm having a hard time staying on board with it.
It's tough. Siggy makes it better. Like, her and her husband have the best divorce. Her divorce is better than most marriages. Like, it's amazing. She gave her son a car. I cried. It was lovely.
Okay.
She's to keep watching for, but in itself, I'm not interested in anybody else. I don't care about Rosie anymore, which is shocking. And I don't care about that cousin, Kathy Wakili, and her coffee.
Never cared about Kathy. Yeah. Okay.
On to New York.
Well, let's take a quick break and then we'll go to New York.
Okay. And we're back with the NYC part 3 of the reunion.
I just realized we didn't mention we don't have a guest. There's just so much going on.
I know. There's too much, guys. We just had to get to it today.
Well, our guests are my spirits from San Pedro.
Yes, exactly. What are they telling us now?
And the spirits from Eurobits.
Yes. They're telling me World War II is over. Get over it.
Wow. Reunion New York. What do you think, Danielle?
It was great, and yet it was false hope, because they teased it as if Sonia had some big reveal, some piece of information, and all she had was a shit-eating grin. And that's not...
That's all she did bring.
Yeah, that's all she brought to the table. So that was disappointing. I was expecting a big... So I think I would have been more satisfied had there been some revelation that they teed up. And then,
At this point, I would consider big news in terms of Tom and Luann to be that Tom genuinely loves Luann. That would be the biggest reveal of all time.
Also, we found out that Sonia is drinking again a little bit. She revealed that she's
having a sip.
Yeah, she says, if a guy I'm out with has a really great red wine, I'm not going to not drink it.
She's going to have a sip.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a slippery slope with Sonia. And to me, that was upsetting news, because I want her to be her best Sonia.
I do too. And right off the bat, we get the best backhanded compliment I've almost ever heard. So everyone's praising Sonia's efforts at quitting drinking and like how great she looks and how wonderful she's doing. And Andy teased them all up. He's basically like, isn't Sonia, doing so well? And Luann takes it upon herself to say, Sonia, you have done an amazing job getting yourself out of a tailspin. And then she yells to everyone, she was in a tailspin. She was in a tailspin. And Sonia's smiling like, thanks, Lou.
Sonia doesn't know when people are shitting on her, and that's why I love her, because I feel for her. Again, I relate. I don't know half the time.
But the women are so mean, even when they're complimenting her, like Ramona's like, you've never looked better. And it's basically like, you looked like shit when you were drinking.
But I feel like Luann tells me every week more and more what a monster she is. And so it is... Yeah. Like and I know I'm skipping a little at the end, which is like, I just want everyone to find the happiness I found. Ugh. It's so self-congratulatory. It's so like feeling superior. How can you take a compliment from nothing is genuine from that woman.
And then Luann takes the time to point out who she'd also like to find happiness. And then she realizes like she can't name everyone because they're all such wrecks. She's like, I want Ramona and Sonia. Well, and Jules. Yeah. And she's like, All of them.
I guess the lot of you.
Sunrise, sunset. I wish that was the theme song to Real Housewives of New York. Sunrise, sunset.
Because it is. It's more of a sunset.
It should be all of their dead parents singing it from heaven, being like, looking down on Luann, like, is this the little girl I carried? Watching them.
That would be tough.
Just devastated at what their kids are up to.
Yeah. Not understanding it either. I love finding out that Berkshire's was going to be 3 days. Can you imagine if the Berkshires had been 3 fucking... It felt like 3 weeks already. I mean, just one day felt like an eternity. And when Dorinda revealed that, I was like, oh, Dorinda. Oh,
and it was one day. Is that correct?
Maybe not even.
Wow.
It was like, it looked like they all arrived at 4 p.m. and left at 10 a.m.
And then we have a revelation, Danielle, that Ramona, in fact, was first offered the tipsy girl deal by that weird, sweaty, creepy sports bar owner guy.
Yes. And another Tom. They're all Toms.
Oh, yes. Every man on this season is Tom.
They're all Toms.
Even the dry cleaner's Tom.
Oh, yeah. He's a Tom.
He's a real Tom.
If he's a day.
They're all Toms and Tomming around.
Yeah.
I love how, so Bethany's like, wait, Ramona, you were offered tipsy girl? Ramona's like, yeah. And Sonia's proud of this. She's like, she was offered it first. It's like, you shouldn't brag about that.
Turned it down because she felt that you don't
Ramona claims she turned it down because she made the connection between tipsy. I think Ramona's like, oh, I just have a failed sports bar in the, Tribeca with this guy. I'm not going to leap in bed with him again.
Already has Ramona Pinot Grigio.
Why would she
muddy
There's
the
no
brand?
way Ramona turned it down because of the name. It seemed like in that moment, her synapses were firing like crazy. Like she didn't even realize
things.
Yeah. And then Sonia just, it was like, remember on OC when Gretchen and Alexis were fighting over who had been asked for, what was it, New York 1?
No. Yes, it was like New York 1, like to be like a weather girl.
Who had been asked first?
Yes.
This was like the opposite of that. They were both like, no, you were asked second. Like, it was so weird.
So strange. When Sonia walked out, guys, it was the saddest. There have been a lot of walkouts in the history of Housewives, and most of them have been wonderful and I have welcomed. This one felt like a limp dick. It was just like kind of getting up, but knowing she was never going anywhere. It looked like
when you get up or when someone has dementia and they may go to make a big move and then forget where they're going with love.
Yeah, with love.
It was like she stood up and then she was like, oh.
She sort of just made like a circle and then sat back down.
I mean, I loved it.
Stretch her legs.
Yeah, and then Andy was treating her. Andy, and this is not again because Andy listened to the podcast, but Andy was killing me in part 3.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Andy, when she stood up, Andy's face, and then he just goes, "Okay, Sonia, sit down. Sonia, can you sit down?" He like the way I speak to my son when he throws his sippy cup.
Who is not even a year and a half.
Yeah, and she was like, "Well, okay."
Yeah. Oh yeah. It didn't take much cajoling to get Sonia back.
Not at all.
I think it's fascinating the way that Sonia is so furious at Dorinda for not inviting her to Hell House in the Berkshires, but she's fine with Bethany now, who trampled on her dead, beaten, broken body.
She's like, Bethany's got my back.
And it was just like so delusional. I can't get
She's
my
like,
head.
Bethany's always been a nice base for me.
It's
like she hates you.
Yeah, she broke you down and said she never wanted to talk to you. She thought you were like a cheater and dumb and a liar. Like,
and when they flash back to that, Sonia's smiling like, that was a nice day.
Yeah, and with Dorinda, she's like, how could you hurt me? Not about.
It's just as delusional as Luann blaming Bethany for that information.
Yes.
And I mean, sorry, I'm just laughing.
I just said Bethany is just mean. Like that whole village idiot stuff just rang so mean. Dorinda is trying. I'm not saying Dorinda doesn't shit stir. It's not a shit stir, but to call her the village idiot.
I love Dorinda.
I do too.
I'm really feeling Dorinda after this reunion part 3. She held her own. She does think what she thinks. Look, she's obviously struggling with substances. and that's
one
clear.
In particular.
But at the same time, I like her.
I think she has a good heart. I think she does care about her friends. And I
liked when she said, Bethany's like, you don't browbeat friends into, going places. And I'd kind of missed this in the flashbacks. And Dorinda's like, oh, look in the mirror. Yeah. Bethany is just browbeats everyone. She's so nasty. And I like when Andy kind of called her out. And, Bethany's like, well, Dorinda, you're so angry. And Andy's like, so are you.
You both are.
And Andy said the best phrase. And I know he says it a lot, but it kills me when he says with all due. He's like, with all due. That should be his next book title.
With all due. Andy, if you're listening, with all due. Next book, check it out. Or even your podcast should be named With All Due, Andy.
Yeah. At one point, Dorinda's screaming at Sonia, and she's there. These three people are seated in a row.
Yeah.
It's Dorinda, then Sonia, then Jules.
Yeah.
And they're in a 3-shot.
Yeah.
Dorinda's screaming at Sonia, and Jules is doing the following things back to back: plugging her ears, putting on lip gloss, staring down the barrel of the camera like she's seen a ghost.
Oh, Jules, we hardly knew you.
And you know what? I'm like, how come Jules can't get season 2? She's off the show if anyone doesn't know.
She's done.
And we're seeing Megan again. Megan King Edsman.
Well, I think because Megan made such a stir and brought up the cancer stuff last year that they were like, that became the season arc.
See, I think Andy just likes the fact that Jimmy was a Cardinal.
Yeah, that is true. We have seen pictures of them.
And I did have to double check what team that was.
You did.
Before.
You thought it was like the Toronto Raptors.
I kept saying I was like the LA Royals.
I was like, that's not a thing.
It's the Cardinals day.
And then saying that Carol gets overshadowed by Bethany. I don't know that she's overshadowed. I don't think Carol gives a fuck about any of those girls except for Bethany. So she doesn't feel the need to speak to any of them, is how I feel about it.
I do know what the girls are saying, though, with Carol. There is something to me when she gets around Bethany, who I do think is a mean girl. It's not a great color on her. At least Bethany is who she is kind of all the time. But there's something about Carol. I don't know. I know what they're saying. But Bethany just gets so nasty when she's like, I want her to put things in perspective, sweetie pie. It's like, because she's so acid.
Yeah, she is. She's tough and she's getting tougher and she'll apologize for things, but she doesn't seem to. It's not like she lives and learns. She just does it all.
I think she has just so many enablers in her life. Like, obviously she's enabled in a sense by Andy and the franchise being like, the bee is back.
Yeah.
And by her new boyfriend.
And even the girls are like, you're obviously the alpha of the group. It's like, she doesn't have to be. You guys are building her up to be the queen bee.
I know. And okay, I love when Sonia says at one point, she's like, look, I was invited to the dry cleaner party. And Dorinda's screaming, stop saying dry cleaning party. She's like, what? And then Sonia's not even hearing that. She's like, what? It was a dry cleaning party. A dry cleaning party.
There was a whole thing where they were all, I wanted to know what the Countess and Dorinda were saying to each other. There was like over talk going on and they were saying something to each other. Do you remember that part?
No, what were they saying?
I couldn't hear it. I tried to, but like at some point they were talking and like saying something and I couldn't hear and it seemed important, but I don't think that the mics caught it. And if anyone remembers, like there was like an aside and I was trying to hear it.
If anyone really can touch down for me, I've asked this a number of times and I have not gotten the feedback I've desired. And I'm not blaming anyone, but what is going on with Carol and Dorinda? Am I a ghost? Does anyone hear me?
I don't know. Yeah, tell us, guys. Why are they fighting?
I can see now that Dorinda and Bethany are having issues and that Dorinda and Sonia, but what's going on between Carol and Dorinda?
Please, guys, tell us. Bees on the G, tell us.
I loved Sonia when we went, and normally I don't watch the flashbacks in the reunion, but I was...
Yeah, I felt tempted to this time. They felt important.
Too. They got me.
Yeah.
They got me good. When Sonia's talking about Luann's engagement ring. So Luann in the scene, she flashes this like canary yellow diamond that's humongous. And in testimonial, and maybe we talked about it, but Sonia says the following. I mean, she's coming in with an 8-carat murky yellow diamond, and I had a near flawless 4-carat D flawless. I'm happy for her, but trails off.
It was so great.
So amazing.
Oh, another favorite thing was when Luann was like, yeah, Tom's friends with all his girlfriends. I'm happy he is. They're all going to be at our exes are all at our wedding. And then Jules, like as if to like defend her, says, yeah, 2 of my bridesmaids were Michael's exes. As if their wedding was a success story. It was like, exactly. Like, and how did that turn out for you? Like maybe it's not.
That is so true, Great. Danielle. It was amazing.
The 180s on this show, that the girls do, from hating each other to be like, she had my back. Like Luann was saying, like, nobody was there for me this season. And then she'd be like, at the end of the day, I know these girls had my back. It's like, what? Like,
she's like, at the end of the day, Bethany's got me, boo. Yes. Like, Bethany's in my corner.
They are so willing to turn on a dime and be like, I'm your best friend. I'm your worst enemy.
It's like when Sonia apologized to Luann. I love now when someone will just get up and give a hug where you're like, I don't think that person's quite ready for a hug yet. And she like throws her arms around Luann, who sits there like a stiff, wilted doll. Just like...
Oh, my favorite thing that happened on the whole thing. My favorite thing when... Luann was like, I mean, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And Andy goes, worse than the pirate.
But they didn't play it as a joke.
And then Luann was just like, yeah, much worse. Like,
yeah, but she thought about it. She like, considered
that
it
too. It was like, what?
She considered it. She was like, well, the pirate was a dark time as well. And they flashed to a photo of Luann having sex with a pirate on St. Bart's. That was amazing.
But Andy, worse than a pirate. It was like, thank you. Thank God for Andy Cohen.
And he said it so seriously.
He listened to the podcast, but because he asked the tough questions.
And he asked a really tough question when he asked Luann, how did your kids take this revelation that Tom was, making out with someone at the bar? She was like, not well.
She's like, Noelle was furious. How does Noelle feel? Noelle, get at us. Tell us how you're feeling.
There was a moment, it was very, very, very small, but Ramona and Carol are in a 2-shot, and Carol tries to literally pipe in and say one thing to Luann, like just one quick thing. And Ramona just doesn't even look at her. She just goes, shh, stop. Stop it. Stop. Just like swatting her away like a little fly. And Carol takes it like, okay,
great. I got it. And then... also, just at the end, when Andy forces them to come in for a group hug, and Bethany, put your walls down, girl. She would not go in for that group hug at the end.
Abhorrent.
Come
Disgusting.
On. You're on a show. Act like it.
I hugged Sarah Palin on live television on Saturday Night Live.
Okay, see.
I know. But I'm saying,
I know.
When someone stretches their arms out wide.
I know. How do you deny it?
And then one of the Facebook group members posted this photo of Carol. If you have a second, treat yourself to the last seconds of that hug. Bethany, you pointed out, standing on the side, just sitting there. And Carol attempting multiple times to get in on the hug and failing. No one's giving her an arm, not even Andy.
Yeah, so
she looks so desperate.
It was beautiful. New York, thank you for being a wonderful season. Anything else to say about New York?
I hope there's some unseen footage.
Of course, I'd like to know before they were housewives.
I'd love to know, do a producer's
Yes.
Maybe we go to Berkshire's, maybe we go to Miami.
I want to know how it all came together.
Yeah, I do too.
Beautiful season.
Beautiful season.
Thank you. Bravo. Brava. Brava. Bravo.
Brava. Bravo.
Speaking of the Facebook group, you wanted to say something?
Yes, Danielle. I am going to take us through a little informational session about the Bitch Sesh Facebook group. So much like the mystery of Aileen 2, there's been a little bit of confusion surrounding our Facebook group. And I say this because an amazingly well-organized, thoughtful, delightful, hilarious girl named Erin Williams is our fearless leader. And she met Danielle and I at our first live show and told us that she had indeed started this Facebook group. And before we knew it, it had ballooned to 5,000 plus members. And a lot of people are having trouble finding it. And so I reached out to Erin to just say, obviously I'm barely a mill. And what's the situation? How does grandma find it online? And this is what she wrote back. And we've come up with a solution so that everybody can join, because Erin and her fellow leaders, of which I will name all of the girls that are involved in it in a second, want everyone to be involved. So sorry for this long explanation, but this is what Erin wrote me back, because I said people are having trouble finding the group and or joining because it is a secret group. And she says, here's our situation. We want the group to be a welcoming, accessible place for people to join in on the fun. However, we made the rookie mistake of changing it to a secret group to catch our breath when it first started, only to find that you can't undo that after 24 hours when you have over 5,000 people. This is something I would do, Erin. And I know not the in and out roads of Facebook. So here's the thing. They want to accept anyone that wants to be a part of it. The problem is, unless someone knows you and invites you, you cannot join a secret group. So we're in a real catch-22 here. So the fearless founder and her fellow leaders have come up with a way to join the group. Since it is secret, again, it can't be changed to unsecret. So if anyone would like to join the Facebook group, and let me just explain what it is. It's an unbelievable forum for boots on the ground information concerning all things housewife and anything garbage. It is devoid of any political chit chat. It is people doing the Lord's work, posting things like the back of Brooks Ayers' head in a North Carolina airport. Just very, very important work, stories, snippets, anything good, any thoughts. There's a lot of polls on there. I genuinely have to tell you, so many of my friends are on it too. It is so fun to just scroll through and read what everyone is coming up with. The listeners are so motherfucking funny. So I really think everyone should join, and here's how. If you go into Facebook and search like you're searching a friend, you can find a new page that has been set up. It is called Sesh Pod. I'm going to spell this out much like Third Love. It is SESH space POD, Sesh Pod. And that will direct you to a page, and it'll just simply say join, yes or no. Do you want to be a part? And once you click yes, the founders will invite you into the Facebook group, which is called Bitch Sesh by Aileen 2, a Real Housewives breakdown group. So again, just go to Sesh Pod, and you'll see it's pink with a boot for boots on the ground, and you will then be invited to join the group. This could not be more confusing, and I like it. I really like it that way. I feel like, yeah, we got to work to get our information, and I hope this isn't too much to ask, and I hope you'll join if you'd like to. I'm going to tweet out all this information too and make it super easy for everyone to find, because we want everyone to be excluded and we want to do it nice. I would like to shout out our leader. Again, Erin Williams has been tireless. This is someone with a full-time job who has just been amazing. And here are the other women who run the group with her. Lucy Cohen, Lily Daubertine, Udalyn Polomsky. I hope I got that right. Udalyn Polomsky, who says we are all bees on the motherfucking ground, Paige Piper, and Amy Kakur. I hope I'm pronouncing everyone's name right, because I love these women, and Danielle and I have been in contact with them. We support them fully. While Danielle and I don't have anything to do with the kind of goings on with the group, we are huge fans of it, and we are loving it. And you'll note when you join the group, there are some rules. The main one being no tagging. And this is a really safe space to get out some of your thoughts. And I think you will find it a blast. It's absolutely hilarious. So again, go to Sesh Pod if you'd like to get in on the Facebook group that we mentioned so often. We'd love to have one safe space for everyone to be, where they can feel like you've come in from the rain. Take your boots off and enjoy yourself. Thank you, Erin, and everyone. Lastly, before I go, we have a shout out from a listener who writes us and says, this comes from Philip Boswell. He says, guys, on Friday, my boyfriend and I fly to Chicago for the start of our 10th anniversary. And then on Monday, we fly to New York. And on Thursday, we get married at New York City Hall. And none of their families know. Well, I'm sure both of their families are loyal Bitch Sesh listeners. But Philip is asking that I do a shout out to his beautiful fiance, Ross. And the two of them have been listening to the podcast. Ross apparently really likes it, to which I say thank you. I want to wish you both a beautiful marriage and a wonderful trip. And Philip says, we both love the podcast, St. Andrew, and our beautiful monsters that are the housewives. He'd like a shout out, and he says that Ross has no idea he's emailed or messaged us, and like the Dorinda he is, he did it nice. You did it real nice, Philip, and I hope you both do it nice. Do it real nice. Congratulations. I think that's it. Again, Danielle and I have live shows at Largo. Oh, yeah, I don't even know when they are. Just look up Largo. I think our next one in October is sold out, but there could be some tickets here and there. And then I believe our October show is not yet sold out. And I think that's it, guys. Wow. Danielle's had to leave for a meeting, in case anyone's wondering where she is. She's not here. But I'm still in the Nook, braless, coming down off San Pedro, bidding you all farewell, and maybe I'll see you in the stands at my basketball game. Take care. Thank you so much, April Mouton, my fellow partner in crime that I have to pay to hang out with me, and now my basketball teammate. Thank you to Danielle Schneider, of course, to Luce, to July Diaz, to everyone at Earwolf, to Chris Bannon, Paul Scheer. Guys, what a week. I mean, I'm spent from these episodes of Housewives. And again, I'm not even caught up on Jersey. Well, just chatting at this point. I don't know why I haven't stopped. April, anything you want to add? Nope. Bye, guys.
Now Hear This is coming to Anaheim this October. It's a brand new podcast festival where you can hang out with your favorite hosts and other podcast superfans, and everyone is going to be there. Everyone? Everyone. I'm talking Comedy Bang Bang.
Good morning, Vietnam! One of my favorite movies about one of my favorite places.
WTF.
And then at first I thought, this is fun. Then I thought, I'm going to die.
And that's Louis C.K.'s work.
That's
Criminal.
Did you think for a second, I'm dying. I'm going to die.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was it. Absolutely.
The Moth.
They say that ghosts are people caught between two worlds. I'm caught between two worlds.
Plus Super Ego, How Did This Get Made? Pop Culture Happy Hour, Spontanea Nation, Lore, The Memory Palace, Tannis, Hello from the Magic Tavern, and over 30 podcasts in total. Tickets are going fast, including a very limited number of intimate VIP packages with reserved seating. So get yours now and learn all the details at nowhearthisfest.com.
This has been an Earwolf production, executive produced by Scott Aukerman and Chris Bannon. For more information and content, visit earwolf.com.